Um,
Hello and welcome to our
hey,
Firefly Counseling Summer Live series.
welcome.
I am Tracy
Introductions.
Keller. I am the owner of Firefly Counseling in Wauwatosa.
And I'm Polly Sackett, independent contractor with Firefly in Tosa.
Yes, and tonight
Yes.
the topic is
Oh,
back to school, back to stress.
back
Let's
to
talk
school.
mental load.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
before you jumped on here, I let the viewers know that I'm looking forward to this. Like, I'm ready for structure and routine. Summer's been like summering hard, and I would like to get back to a routine.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
But I know
You're
and I
ready
can
for it too.
appreciate that other people, like the beginning of the school year, brings a load of tasks and things that just like add up
They do.
and
Yes.
it can become overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tracy, I think this is where we like start talking about like, this is again, as we probably do every time,
Hmm.
both. This is going to be awesome. Get out to my house. And also, um, summer's coming to an end and I'm missing that, like the late light nights and the fun that can be had outside. So both things are true.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think, a lot of the mental load piece, like I talk to so many moms who are just like feel exhausted or feel burnt out or like feel like they have no mental energy.
Yeah.
And like this idea of like mental load, I think is really hard to like see, right? Or like understand, or like I see a lot of the times like partners have a hard time like seeing or like
Yeah.
understanding like what that like default parenting role is. So
Yes.
sometimes I like actually I like stole this from like Kristen D'Amato because she like
Okay.
used an amazing example of like
Yes.
just like mental load. Like if you think about like if you're the person who like makes dinner in your household, right? That means that you're also in charge of like finding the recipes, getting the groceries, making the grocery list, going there, cooking the food, prepping the food, finding time and like space away from kids to make the food, making sure everything is clean and tidy enough to make the dinner, you know, cleaning up after dinner. Like, I think even like about like serving my kids food, like my food is cold before I even sit down because I am like, okay, let me get your plate set. Let me get my plate set. Oh, now you want milk. Oh, you need a spoon. Oh, I forgot to grab the fruit. Oh, this, that,
Hmm.
and then it's like corralling kittens into like eating food, right? And
Yeah.
then it's like the cleanup afterwards. And it's like, of course, this is exhausting. This is just one task.
One task. Yeah. That balloons into it. It is so much more than that. And same thing with like registering a kiddo for school. What does that, who got the email? Who read the email? Whose task list is that on? What does that then require in terms of perhaps immunizations or stuff that has to come up? All of those different things. It's not just I registered the kids for school. It's all these other things that come
Totally.
with it. Yes.
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
I talk to people too who like have this idea of like delegation, right? Like I'll delegate within my relationship and we'll just delegate, right? And I think like really if you're delegating, it has to be intentional with how you do it because otherwise delegation turns into like more stress, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I signed the kids up for the thing, but I didn't tell you that they needed like tap shoes for this class, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Um, those types of pieces, things just kind of get like missed, or like there's this extra paper, or like this permission slip, and who signed it?
Who signed it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that can be especially challenging, especially if um, you have a partner that doesn't see this.
Right.
Um, and that and that I think can be where couples therapy can come in handy in terms of getting like everybody on the same page about um perspectives and what is important to your partner is then by proxy going to be important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't sort of like up for a debate about whether or not something's important. It's like seeing it through another's eyes. So that can be a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there are folks who don't want to dismiss, what it is that the other is going through, and still, that's a lot to even impart, will you sign them up for this? And what that means is XYZ PDQ, put it on the calendar, all of the things, and all, to the nines of, um, so that's mental load right there.
Yeah.
Not just the thing, but also all the other tasks sort of like underneath the task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Yeah.
a lot. Like, and
Uh-huh.
then you think about like it's exhausting. Like I will normalize sometimes in like therapy sessions, like how exhausting it is just to like take care of yourself mentally. Like if we talk about like getting the right amount of sleep, eating healthy, getting some movement in your body. Like if we talk about the things that you just need to like sustain a body that feels good, like it is exhausting in itself, you know?
Yes, yes, for
And then
even
you're
an individual.
maintaining multiple bodies.
All the other people. Yes. Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that's super exhausting. And like you can let yourself neglect. Like you can like, I haven't run in a minute and
Yeah.
it's okay, But like when it's other people who are being impacted because you're not doing the mental task of it,
Yeah.
just because that's the nature of parenthood.
Yeah.
It's this other thing.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other part of it is like when we do delegate in some ways to a partner who may see things a little bit differently, maybe it's not necessarily like a go, no go sort of situation, is the letting go. Like, okay, they can wear that to school. Will you get the kids dressed for school? Sure. Okay, the onesie is buttoned outside of the pants. Okay, let that one go. Maybe. So figuring out even where those boundaries lay and
Mhm.
what to really hold on to and what to let go of.
Yeah. I'll talk a lot about like the difference between like delegating and like offloading.
Yeah,
Right? So like to me delegating is like, okay, I need you to make dinner tonight. This is what's for dinner. Here's the ingredients, here's the recipe, go.
yeah,
Right? And I think really if like you're carving out like ways and you have a partner who's like happy and willing to do this, right? It's like about offloading, which means
yeah,
like an example I used with one of my clients is like your partner is now in charge of all the permission slips, right? Or like I know in our household we have like I do all the health appointments and
yeah.
anything for like I know this is silly, but like it's what we do, right? Anything for like doggy daycare
Yeah,
is my partner. I don't worry
yes,
about getting the dog to daycare. I don't worry about
yep,
picking her up, right? And we can adjust, we can delegate within that.
yeah.
But like if there's anything to do with doggy daycare, it is his. And if it's
Oh,
anything to do with health appointments for the kids, it's me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those different differences, that makes a lot of sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
take that whole thing. Take that
Mm-hmm.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I don't have any, it's not my project, and I
Yeah,
think that's a really clear thing that's important within like a couple
yes.
system, right? Because otherwise it gets murky of like who's doing what
You
and
did
well
the
this
thing.
you did this last time or you picked this up before, And I
Yeah,
think that's where like you really give that really amazing opportunity in couples work to kind of like navigate through and be able to prioritize the couple, you know,
yes,
and share that
absolutely.
load.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that I was sort of thinking around this is something that I totally lost. I totally lost. I want my kids to go back to school. Actually, one just did and the other just needs to, really
Mhm.
needs to get out to my house.
I hear that. I hear that, Polly. Right. I mean, I think it's an interesting dynamic. And I think, you and me have this unique perspective because I know you're kind of on like the opposite
Yes.
ends of things. Like my kids are kind of like coming into
Right.
it and your kids are kind of moving out of it.
Heading out. Yeah.
Um, and I think it's so interesting because like even as we're talking, like we can relate on this idea of mental load, even though it's two
Absolutely.
very different dynamics right now.
Yes. Yeah, very true. Like who, for instance, sending someone off to school. Okay, who's in charge of thinking through all of the things for the dorm room that, like the mattress pad topper, the things and who's in charge of that?
Hmm.
And okay, you're gonna pack this, but not that. And granted, some of this is to be delegated to the adult who's leaving. And at the same time, this is a little bit of a handoff
Hmm.
setting them up for success. And yeah, who owns that? Who holds on to that?
Right.
Um, the other thing that a part of this is like, um, where the mental load falls, I think can be so interesting in a couple, because by nature, some folks in a couple might be a little bit more like the calendar, the planner, the things. Oh, I can see these two events colliding, that like this isn't going to work. So like some folks can kind of see that, and the importance like of that person speaking up when they see sort of the, duplicate events, or how are we going to get this done by then if all of the things don't fall exactly in line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, the real big importance of keeping the lines of communication open and listening well and taking it on if it isn't something that you necessarily see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I think what I'm hearing is like in a partnership, right? This is kind
Yes.
of really the time to like sit down, game plan, figure out who's doing what, figure out how to divide that. And
Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge too that like if you are like single parenting, right, to really be able to acknowledge and appreciate that this is just exhausting and like,
Absolutely.
ugh, you're doing the thing, but being
Yes.
able to label that for yourself of
Yes.
course I'm exhausted. I'm initiating and like helping my kid transition into the school year,
Yes. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this, and I want to just honor and mention that this, is sort of like if you do have a partner who is willing to help, and
Yeah.
that in many circumstances, there isn't another person, or there's someone who's just not willing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And this can look so many different ways. And I think it is so nuanced, right? Because it depends on your specific, unique situation. But I
Yeah.
think, it can be a really helpful space just to like offload somewhere too. Like, and if that is offloading a task, or even if that's like finding therapy or social support to be able to just
Yes.
like offload and be like, "Bleh, this
Yeah.
is life right now," and to just normalize that,
Yeah.
There
Absolutely.
are some strategies I know
Yeah.
we can talk about within this, like
Yes.
navigating and figuring out how to
Yeah.
deal with the overload.
Yeah.
What thoughts do you have on what you tell folks to help support them, especially during this time of year?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, just throwing this one out there, just the importance of community is that the and to go ahead and like lean on help when it's offered, or I had a circumstance happen for me that mornings in my house were just very chaotic, and I broke my leg, and I could not make they were what, 7 and 9 at the time, and still needed a lot of help. There were stairs, etc. And I had a friend who came over for 20 minutes, and she just like, even just having her in the house, maintained a certain civility that then, like, you just need to get in the car
Mm-hmm.
for your mom. And they, it worked out. And there was very minimal like lifting that the person had to do, 20 minutes, a few mornings a week for a couple
Mm-hmm.
weeks. And it was like a game changer for me. But so the importance of really identifying, I think, strategies. So along those lines, leaning on
Yeah.
community, like realizing like when are the times in a day where it gets super dicey and super heavy. And as I talk to parents, clients, couples, morning times are like some of the hardest times. Uh yeah. Dinner times can be, and then also like bedtimes. So how do you like, yeah, figuring out how to get through those particular times, realizing that this will end. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that in the most challenging moments, like recognizing that.
Yeah.
And I think another, most importantly, is like the compassion that we can offer to ourselves during this time is
Huge.
really key, because like ultimately people are probably going to get to where they need to go in any given day. And
Mm-hmm.
how can that happen in a way that we're like not beating our own self up, that it doesn't look a certain way? Ultimately, everybody's probably going to fall asleep. Okay. It may not look exactly how it is that we like imagine it to go or be as easy. And how can we do that in the kindest way, like for ourselves, and model that and model
Mm-hmm.
that? So those would be at least strategies that I would like: community, go easy on yourself, What
Mhm.
about you, Tracy? Any sort of like ones you would
Yeah.
lean
I
on?
mean, I
Yeah,
think offloading where you can, right? And I
yeah,
think that can be like taking that separation and using that support like we talked about before. But I think like even like that piece of support, like I know like me and my best friend, like we will go and have sleepovers like every
yeah,
quarter and
yeah,
we
yeah.
just like vent, right? Like we just like in solidarity are like, wow, this is like heavy what we're carrying all the time. And
Yes.
that like she doesn't have the time and space and energy to come into my house and support. She's got like three little kids of her
Yep.
own running
Yep.
around that she has to
Yes.
get somewhere in the morning, you know? But I
Yes.
think just that like solidarity of like, wow, you
Yeah.
know, like, look, we're doing all the things, you know, and being real
Mhm.
about it too. I
Yep.
think that is something that I just, you know, preach, 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 preach. Like authenticity within relationships. Like, I think a lot of the times we feel like we have to be like buttoned up and like present in a certain
Yeah.
way, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
In reality, like, if your kid wears the same clothes 3 days in a row, like I cannot tell you what my kid even wore to school yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I have no idea what your kid was wearing yesterday, you know?
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
just being able to kind of let
Hmm.
go of some of those expectations. Um,
Absolutely.
because I think there's a lot of that like that can be ingrained in us of like what is this supposed to be? So that compassion part of like good enough, you know,
Hmm.
like with dinners, like they will eat when they're hungry. With bedtime,
Yeah.
they will fall asleep when they're tired, you know, and being able to kind of just let go of that. I think that self-compassion part that you brought up are like amazing strategies, and I really want to encourage that for each individual person. This may
Yeah.
sound and look different, right? Like
Yeah.
I think we're like within this we're talking about like cognitive shifts, and I think the biggest thing
Yes.
that I don't want people to do is like just change their thinking around in their brain to something that feels like bullshit,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
it needs to really kind of like agree for you. So like if it's like this is good enough for me, cool, right? If that doesn't
Yeah.
resonate for you and it's like, you know what, I can try again tomorrow, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
however this like works for you, I
Yeah.
think is the thing to know and like what resonates of like what feels compassionate to you and your body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tracy, what's the thing that you're the most excited about back to school?
I'm excited to get a routine and schedule back in place
Yeah.
because actually, Polly, I didn't tell you this, but I think I'm going to get a Tosi yoga membership and I think I'm going to come to your Thursday
Oh,
class.
yay. Okay, that's super exciting.
I
Put that
know,
in
I
your
know. So like
routine.
having a set routine and
Yes.
structure that I can like carve out and like have something like expected and just
Yeah.
for me, you
Yeah.
know? Like I think that's what I am most looking forward to. And honestly, like
Absolutely.
I love like watching my kid come home and like having her like sing a song that I've never heard before or like talk about like identifying like shapes and letters. I mean, she can do some of that stuff. I can't think of a better example, but like that kind of thing is just like cool,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
So that's, and I'm also looking forward to having a little bit of time with like the younger one, just one on one too, since we've never
Yes.
really had that because she's the second.
Right? Because she's the second. Yep. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple clients who are thinking a lot about that. Just being able to hang out with the number two that's
Mm-hmm.
not yet in school.
Yeah. How about you
Mm.
with
Yeah.
this, like with this different kind of
Oh
step for
my gosh,
you?
right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, I have always appreciated uninterrupted thinking. Like that is something that I had a lot of, and since I had children, like I don't, I get more opportunities for uninterrupted thinking as I get older because they can take care of themselves. But
Yeah.
that was one thing that I really struggled with when I had small children was like I could not have a thought that could just noodle on without somebody having a physical need or a who knows what, like a
Yes.
fire or like, and so I just that, and that was really hard for me. And that is something that like, after being a mom, like uninterrupted thinking is something I just like, I really appreciate.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
I'm so
Uninterrupted
excited for
thinking.
you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, I have to go to straighten a teenager's hair because they're going to a party. Um,
That's good. That's
but
awesome too.
right, but parties on a Tuesday night, like let's get back to like, come on,
Right.
somebody go to bed. Somebody please go to bed. Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, this is kind of like a bittersweet time of year, right? But I think there can be
Absolutely.
some positives within kind of getting back into a routine, structure, all of that.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of that, this is also a really good time to prioritize you and have some space if kids are going off to
Yes.
school,
Right.
um, to prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
And I know like if therapy is something you've been putting off too, I know, we're happy to offer support within whatever you're navigating.
Yep.
Um, so feel
Yep.
free, you can reach out. And even if it's not us, like I always encourage folks to reach out because I'm always happy to connect people within my network too.
Yeah.
Um, and get you connected
Absolutely.
with resources because it's such a pain in the butt to find a therapist that isn't. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So
Right?
true. Yeah. So set up a 15-minute consult.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what's going on and see if we can help or if we can find someone to help you because that's a priority for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll plug too, Polly's going to have a workshop at Tosa Yoga
Yes.
for down regulation
Awesome.
of the nervous system
Yes.
in
Yes.
November.
Yeah.
So stay tuned and we'll kind of put more information out about that as it gets a little bit closer.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll put that up.
And then the other thing I was going to say too, I think in September, this live series gets kind of kooky dukes in some ways. I think there's like a
Oh, it
week
does. You're right.
where there's like a back to back or something like that. So just we'll put
Yeah.
all the information out. I did figure out that I can turn this into like an event. So if that works a little bit
Oh,
easier, that's what we'll do.
cool.
So we'll try
Yeah.
that within here. And then also if you're somebody who's been affected by the flood damage at all
Yes.
within Tosa or Milwaukee or anywhere in Wisconsin, just to know that we are offering discounted rates for therapy to offer support.
Yeah.
And I know that some people may feel like, well, I could afford therapy and I don't necessarily need like a discounted rate or like I want to leave these spots open for other people. But really, like if you're having any kind of dynamic that happened with the flood, please feel free to reach out because we really
Yeah.
just want to be able to kind of pour back into our community
Yes. Yeah.
because it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. This has been really terrible for so many people in our community.
Yeah. So
Um, so we want to figure out how we can help, and offering this is a way.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Otherwise, we will plan
Yeah.
to see you guys the next one. I'm really excited because this is kind of like Polly's
Yeah.
bread and butter, right? But the
Yes.
next one is September 9th. Putting things off. Let's talk
Mhm.
procrastination.
Yes. Yes.
And
Procrastination.
I'm going to soak up some of that because
Yeah.
that is not my bread and butter.
Yeah.
The one after
Yeah.
that will be because it'll be like trauma therapy. So we'll
Right.
hit
Then
that one
trauma
afterwards.
therapy.
But
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I really look forward to, yeah, talking about that because I think that can be, I mean, it really affects everybody. And I think we can all take different pages from what are some strategies, not only just to stop at the same time, understanding a little bit more. And I'll give you a hint,
Mhm.
Tracy, just a little clue into like the
Tell me.
solution. The solution does involve self-compassion.
What?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Self-compassion.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we will catch up
All
with
right.
that. I don't think I said it at the beginning, but if any of this doesn't resonate for you, feel free to leave it. This is not
Yeah.
explicit therapy. Oops, forgot
Yep.
to say it earlier. But otherwise, we'll plan to see you September 9th.
Yes.
And if you need anything, resources or anything like that, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll catch you
Yep.
on the flip side.
See you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.